because at the end of the day, I still want to be able to, I don't dislike George Washington. I don't dislike even some of the most racist people in history. But I want to know their history, but I also want to know not only that, you know, hey, they were whatever, but I also want to know about the Shirley Chisholms. I also want to know about the Frederick Douglass. And not even Nat Turner. I want to know more about Nat Turner than him just being some revolutionary. I want to know the Nat Turner that was out in the fields. I want to know the Nat Turner that grew up as a kid. I don't want to know just the narrative. You know, tuned in to Urban Conservative. 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 Tuned in to Urban Conservative.
Q9, my futon, hold it up and smoke it. Transgression, a progression of a war we ain't asked for. Transgression, a progression of a war we ain't asked for. It's madness, yo. All the things that we could talk about.
Call it.
But let's talk about these urban circumstances real quick.
And basically it's
we got this.
So
Revolutionary.
Winner's frosty hand. Muhammad is the fame's name, forever stand.
Standing on royal fusing of justice for the few, ridiculed by the pale terrorists bent on genocidal obsession, rooted in fear of neglection and abandonment, fueled by nightmares of ancestors' jealousy.
Because at the end of the day, I still want to be able to I don't dislike George Washington.
The kind of friends I think all friends should be like my friends. My friends are the kind of friends I think everyone needs. My friends see the things at times I don't see. My friends hate the police.
What has changed?
Are deemed the criminals, and the blacks are deemed the criminals.
Shut up and help.
Reflection ain't nothing but the inner child trying to see you. You gonna look? You gonna pick up that book?
Lord, keep me far from the faith. Guide me through night and day. Teach me your ways. Show me the righteous way to sway. Lord, can you teach me, please? Show me the way, I'd say.
Grand Risings, and welcome back to another episode of the Urban Conservative. I'm your host, Chaz Neal. How's everybody doing this Wednesday? I know it's been a long couple of days. We got a lot to get into today, but I'm going to kick it off this morning with something special. I ain't going to call it something special. Y'all know I've been doing, playing music at the beginning of my episode. And this morning I got something. It's called Crazy.
Never thought we would ever be more than uprising memories. Now I'm all confused because I had people feeling thought it was cool to cross the line. And I was convinced it would be all right. Now things are silent, nothing's the same, and I really just want my revolution back. And my mind's gone crazy because I can't get away. Can't get you out of my system. Saying my mind's going crazy because I can't get away from you. And I'm wondering if it's worth me holding on to the slight of justice. I'd hate to walk away from this as if a need didn't kill a black man. Because when I marched the moment after, I looked at the world different. Yeah, George Floyd Floyd, we at they neck literally. For Tyree Nichols, we gon' skate his memory. For Jalen Walker, we gon' block the roadways. For our ancestors, we gon' make them say your names. I matter, Adam matter. I matter, Rihanna matter. I matter, Mo matter. I matter, Mir matter. I matter, Micaiah matter. I matter, Rashad matter. I matter, Jada matter. I matter, capitalism, money, and power. You feel me, right? Save me, nigga. Huh? There is a coordinated revolution happening across this nation, and we are in a state of crisis. Black people are dying in a state of urgency. It is not a test drill. They being merciless, acting brainless, so let's start the simplifying. Rasheem called for his mama. You gotta know all black brothers and all black sisters coming. We ain't the problem, nigga. We don't need no more trouble. No more trouble, I ain't the problem. I insist I ain't going nowhere. I see all y'all motherfuckers talking and complaining. It's too this, it's too valid, yeah. See what the fuck happens when the DFL conspired? Distribute crack in my environment. Foreign black people don't own no ports or boats. So tell me where the fuck we getting all this coke? Off the brain, I'm spitting up truths. JR, Biden, fear me. The city knows, we know. They want to sweep us under rugs, hoping we just keep killing and shooting each other with slugs. Look up above and pray to God, protect me from these cold elected officials and the Negrophobia having judged. Imagine growing up and never having deadbeat pops acting like I never happened. Fucked up, watching the tears stream down these mama's cheek. She help us in the kitchen. Looking for eat. George Floyd, we at they neck literally. Tyree Nichols, we gon' skate his memory. Jalen Walker, we gon' block the roadway. For our ancestors, we gon' make them say your names. I matter, Adam matter. I matter, Rihanna matter. I matter, Mo matter. I matter, Mir matter. I matter, Micaiah matter. I matter, Rashad matter. I matter, Jada matter. I matter, we matter. I matter, we matter. We matter. Yeah, nigga, I'm here. So fuck y'all gonna do about it, huh? Do something about me, you hear me, you feel me? Get me right, save me, nigga, huh? I'm a pill away from an overdose, a couple of drug deals from death and too far from home. I never asked to be here in this maze to an early death, jail cells, gunfights and crack cells, trying to post bond on this oversized bail. Open my vest, don't give us these bullets come in hell. I'm a straight G, ain't that what it's supposed to be? Shit, I'm just following the tradition of Malcolm and Fred, bootlegging ties with the mob and shit. Capitalism, money, and power. I feel the shadow of death is coming, my life slipping from me. Y'all niggas is funny, fuck what we supposed to do, nigga. Starve and go hungry. For George Floyd, we at they neck literally. Tyree Nichols, we gon' skate his memory. For Jalen Walker, we gon' block the roadway. For our ancestors, we gon' make them see your money fail. Freedom of jail and hell, wish us well. Capitalism, money, and power. We matter. We matter. Get me right. You hear me, nigga? You feel me? Yeah, nigga, I'm here. What the fuck y'all gonna do about it? Huh?
Yo, so like I said, today we're going to be talking about tragedies and trials, a reflection on Memorial Day 2024. And welcome to the Urban Conservative. Let me start off by saying that your go-to source for in-depth discussions on the pressing issues facing our communities. Today, I'm your host, and in this episode, we're diving into the tragic events that unfolded over Memorial Day weekend 2024. From heartbreaking incidents of gun violence to troubling encounters with law enforcement, we're here to shed light on the realities we face and discuss the urgent need for change. I wanted to get in, first of all, a story out of Minneapolis that I feel is very important that we very discuss, because it has to do with what we're going to talk about today with accountability, transparency in our policing and our judicial system. So I don't know if a lot of people have heard, but as you see on the screen, no, whoops. Yeah, man, his conviction was thrown out. We just found out yesterday. I don't know if a lot of people remember this story, but I'm gonna play Fox 9's little
At Grand Casino,
article
some of the best perks are for our Club 55
and
guests. Enjoy the chance.
see. I haven't watched this yet. I know about this whole case basically, and was kind of shocked that it was thrown out. So,
convicted and sentenced for the killing of Deshaun Hill Jr. in 2022 will likely get a new trial. The appellate court reversing the conviction of Cody Forencamp, citing his Fourth Amendment rights were violated. Fox 9's Karen Scullin explains what this means and now what happens possibly going forward. Karen?
Well, you may remember Deshaun Hill Jr. was smart, athletic, and the kind of kid everybody loved. He was just 15 years old when he was shot and killed, and the man convicted of pulling the trigger could now get a new trial. Police and prosecutors said it was Cody Forencamp who shot and killed Deshaun Hill Jr. in 2022. But now Forencamp may get a second chance in court after the Court of Appeals reversed his conviction. Unusual, a surprise, and a decision criminal defense attorney Marsh Hallberg says was not taken lightly by the courts.
Even though courts are supposed to be unbiased and, neutral and objective and all those good things, they still know that they're talking about horrible stress this puts back on the victim's family and everybody else involved to send this back a second time.
The issue revolves around Forencamp's interview with Minneapolis police.
So where were you Wednesday then?
He had been arrested on an unrelated crime in Carlton County, and a judge there had ordered his release. However, MPD investigators questioned him before he walked out. This is video of that interrogation.
I went to the Wally's for a backwood and a pack of Newports. When? And was it Wednesday? 11. Was it Wednesday?
In a motion to suppress, the defense had argued that he was unconstitutionally detained for interrogation after that release order. The state called it an administrative delay, and the video was allowed in trial. But now the appellate court ruled his Fourth Amendment right that protects him from unreasonable seizure was violated.
Because the state chose not to call any witnesses to explain why he was still in custody an hour later, we're not going to assume something positive or negative. Therefore, we're going to rule for the defense.
Hallberg calls the court's decision huge and one that will have an impact on future cases.
This is something that the prosecutors are going to read across the state to make sure they don't repeat this error.
The Hennepin County Attorney's Office said in a statement, "We are deeply disappointed in this decision and are reviewing our options to ensure justice and accountability in this case." So it is not a done deal that they will retry the case, but it is likely. In the newsroom, Karen Scullin, Fox 9.
All right. Thank you, Karen.
wow,
Also make
that's crazy that they don't even know if they're gonna retry the case. Wow, this is one
if
thing
it's
that
going to really be this high quality, wonderful betting.
I can say is the courts don't care about the truth, right? It's more about who can put on the more believable story, right? And it's so easy to devalue Black people, our stories, our experiences, because it's crazy that, I see Cody's case, right? And then, but yet there's people like Marvin Haynes, Mayan Burrell, Darnell McDaniels, Robert Davis out of Ohio. There's so many other stories of Black men and women that are innocent, and they literally, because they fucked up, because the police, I'm just gonna say the police, right, fucked up, and yet this is the type of policing that we get in Minnesota. This is the type of policing that we get around the country. And yet people don't have an issue with it because literally it's okay for the police to lie in interrogations. It's okay for police to use force even though when there's no need for it. Yet these are the things that we deal with in America. And who gets the brunt of that? Who gets the brunt of that? We do. And Jontel, I'm glad that you came on. You came on at the perfect time. You couldn't have planned. Damn, I didn't even actually tell you what time to come on. I just told you that I would appreciate you coming on today because there's some things on here that, especially even this right now, because it's leading up to it. But you know, we talk about the judicial system. We talk about justice, right? But what does that actually look like? Does the courts, is it there for truth? Is it there for transparency? Is it there for justice? Is it there for accountability? And honestly, I can say that what I see as a Black man in America is that our court system, first of all, doesn't care about justice. It doesn't care about accountability, and it doesn't care about innocence or truth. And that's why I took a deal. I took a deal. And honestly, let's say I didn't even take a deal because honestly, I really didn't. What I did is pled guilty because they weren't offering me anything. What they were offering me was prison time in my deal, right? The prosecutor. I wasn't taking that shit. I would rather take my chances of what I did than instead of, you know, I had to come to a decision. I was facing this for 2 years, and I could either plead guilty, go to trial, and hopefully that there would be one juror that would see things, this story, the real story, the truth, and put the pieces together instead of just looking at the narrative that they put together. Because that's literally what they did. They, you know, I had to sit there and listen while this police officer, this commander, made a victim impact statement. And all the things that he said, and it was like, damn, you think that all of that had to do with that, just that one incident, just with that, you closing, like, and the crazy part of it is, like, the truth never came out in this whole court case, my whole court case, right? It was always that it was a protest. No, it wasn't. It was a press conference because the Brooklyn Center Police Department manhandled Katie Wright. Well, you know what I'm saying? And I had to literally sit there with even my own attorney trying to say that because, you know, I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And my lawyer wanted to use that to try, and I'm like, whatever, dude. Even though it really, honestly, it had nothing to do with that. I'm gonna be honest. I know everything that I did, and first of all, I didn't spit at a police officer. I pled guilty to it because that was my best option. That was my best option. I honestly felt like with the environment that we're in, and this was against a police officer, I didn't feel like me going to trial that I could even get one person. That I could even get one person. You get what I'm saying? And what's crazy is if I literally would have went to trial and called, you know, some of the witnesses that were there, you know, and I'm not even going to say paint a different picture, but put out the truth and the facts, I do believe that I would have won at trial. I do believe that. Because if spit literally came out the way that they said it, most of it would have went on Damick Bryant's neck. Because he was the one standing right there in front of me.
Right.
So if anybody got a majority of the spit, it was Damick Bryant, Katie Wright's son. who was out there for his mother. The same thing with his sister, her daughter, who was pregnant at the time.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why would I do something egregious, whatever the fuck word they used yesterday, egregious, whatever.
Egregious.
Right. And knowing that there's a pregnant woman behind me.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and there's like 60. Oh, I don't know how many it was, but there was a lot. I would say anywhere between 40 to 60. Hennepin County sheriffs. And I'm just like, wow. And it's like anytime that we as Black people, and I'm going to say it, Black people ask for accountability or transparency or justice, it feels like it's always an issue. It feels like there's always some kind of ulterior motive that we never receive justice or any type of accountability. And I'm so tired of the politics, because I'll tell you right now, and I know this is, I don't even care anymore, man, at the end of the day. You know, I do, but it's like, how can you change something in a society that people don't understand, or they do understand, but they're so programmed or indoctrinated to believe that that way won't work?
Well, I think for one thing, I think people do not understand, and they're distracted from, they're kept from having a desire to want to understand. There's no incentive. So why would people want to understand? And I can't knock that, because it is what it is. You and I both know, but it does make everything that we're trying to do and get people to understand so much harder. So given what you just said, that's the big question. How do we? How can independent media outlets combat mis and disinformation? How can we combat the lack of seeking truth and knowledge? And that's a legitimate question I have, especially with everything we've been through in the last 4 years alone. We've been through a lot of small individual situations people can call microaggressions or whatever. We've dealt with the shit our whole life, but this is a whole new ball game, because we deal with Black folk, Latinx folk, queer folk, white folk, liberal folk, poor folk, rich folk, all coming at us for telling the truth when no one wants to admit it.
You know what's here's the point. The crazy, not even the point, but like I totally get what you're saying, and it's crazy to me because I sit here and I just think people they just don't want to see it. Yeah. Right? They don't want to believe it, because then it's like everything that they believed in, everything that they thought was real, really fucking ain't. And it's gonna. Right. I think that's the one crazy part of it. And there's a word. Farce, whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's
cognitive dissonance. When you're telling someone that their whole world is fucked up, they don't know their mind can't register. It's like a glitch. And you can literally see it on their faces. They freeze and their eyes go all over, and they don't know, they stutter, they don't know what to do with themselves. That's it right there.
No, and that's what's be crazy to me. It's like, I don't understand how people don't call it out, man. And it's like, are people just so like, well, it's gonna, I'll tell you what the answer that I get 9 times out of 10 is, somebody's gonna do it, and it doesn't matter if we speak out or not, they're still gonna continue to do it. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. I wish it did. But that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, we the people have power. We the people have control. And I don't think people fully understand that, because they feel like they have 2 choices, Democrat or Republican.
Yep.
And there's more than that, and it's like, there's way much more, and because I'm sitting here, there was I don't know what his real name is, but he goes by U.S. Overlord. I don't fucking know. It's some black dude. and he be getting on niggas because they be going at for Trump and whatever. And I'm like, how is Biden the better choice?
Right.
So he's like, well, what other choices do we have? And don't name Cornel West or Robert F. Kennedy. I'm like, okay, Andy Williams Jr.
But see, that's the point right there. Why can't we name those other two people? Because they are viable, legitimate candidates.
No, I'm not. He's just saying that people already had named them. And did I have any other like names beyond those two? And I'm like, Andy Williams Jr. There's more than just Andy. You know, when you literally look up who's running for president. I mean, there was a guy that was just nominated for the Libertarian. I think his name was Chase something. And even the Green Party, they just nominated somebody. Jill Stein, I think her name is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's like way more other people than just Trump and Biden, but it's because we live in a system, right, that is controlled by two parties.
And you've got the bootlickers that do the dirty work by just jumping on you if you fall out of line with that.
Right.
They shame you. Oh, well, you're wasting your vote. Your vote could go towards that candidate or that candidate, and you don't vote for either one, so you're the one that's fucking up the system. And it's like, no, I'm actually making my vote count and matter. And this is what a democracy is. Me taking a stance and saying I'm not voting for either one of them because neither one of them speak to what I want.
Right.
And if more people did that, most people don't vote. Why? Most people don't vote because the people that are available, that they think is available, don't align with their, individual wants, needs, opinions, how they envision themselves to live in America and other people. So the logical solution would be to find those candidates, right? Why are we trying to fit all this stuff into little tiny boxes? Now that's a legitimate question for people to ask themselves. And I really am asking, like viewers and listeners, what do you want? And are you going out to find it?
Very true. What are people looking for? So I wanted to get into some of the stories for today. First segment is about Memorial Day weekend shootings. Cities across the nation were shaken by a series of violent incidents. In Chicago, at least 9 people were killed and 30 others wounded in shootings. Among the victims was a 5-year-old girl named Ware, whose tragic death has left her community reeling. Unfortunately, Chicago wasn't alone. Multiple cities reported similar violence, with a nationwide toll of at least 16 dead and over 40 injured. Damn. We need to ask ourselves why this violence persists and explore what can be done to curb it. I want to play this for a minute. This story really saddened me. It's really fucked up because it's like people can't even enjoy life anymore. We have to sit here and be cautious of some of the things that we do, and we shouldn't. But let's hear this. I want people to pay attention. So,
and the 41 people shot in Chicago over the holiday weekend. Family says Ware was visiting Chicago with her dad. She was shot and killed inside of a car on the west side early Sunday morning. Her dad was also shot. He's expected to be okay. No arrests have been made. 9 people were killed in Chicago since Friday. That includes a double homicide in Albany Park on Friday night. Activists are offering a $20,000 reward for tips that lead to an arrest. The mayor today mourned those lost this weekend, but says overall violent crime is down.
And so there are some signs of improvement, but as long as we have the loss of life or any shooting victim, no politician, quite frankly, no Chicagoan should celebrate.
The mayor says support services are available for families dealing with loss from gun violence.
Wow.
What's crazy is he kind of, my bad, he was kind of celebrating there a little bit of saying of like, hey, we did just have a very bad weekend, but overall our crime is down. to be honest, that's not something I think an elected official should be saying, because first of all, when you see these, just because mainstream media isn't putting out the crime, you have independent crime reporters, I'll call them journalists, like the Chicago Citadarian, you have Philly Crime Watch, you got Minneapolis Crime Watch, and I know people might not always like them because of their verbiage or the words that they use. You just got to correct them, and if they block you, they block you. I tell these people all the time, I'm not going to sit here and go for it. You know, this is one of the reasons why we can't get change in our communities, and why that rhetoric of y'all being racists fucking echoes, and there's no getting rid of it, because at the end of the day, the verbiage that these people use, there's no other way around that. I mean, I'm just going to say it, the shit is for what it is, because I don't agree with their wordage. And I sit there and I have discussions with, you know, Republicans all the time. You have to change. We don't give a fuck about abortion. We do, but we don't. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that right now that is something on our top 10, but our top 5 in the black community. No. Education.
No, and let me tell you why. Because black women have never been at the helm of health prospects. You know what I'm saying? Like, black women were always shut to the back. Black women were always used. Let's go back to slavery for a second. And the rates of fatalities with pregnant women and abortions as it is. Let's talk about how formulas were pushed into black communities in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So the amount of black women that breastfed went down. Abortions were pushed into black communities with welfare moms and so on and so forth. That decision, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but the whole Supreme Court thing and the abortion laws being passed, this isn't an issue that definitely is something we should be talking about. But for us, I don't even think it's in the top 3. I think that is largely, and this is just my opinion and my perspective on it, and quote me if I'm wrong, but I think that is very much like a top-notch white woman issue.
It definitely is not. You know, that's one thing that they always want to write legislation that for things that we should really have no say in. You know,
right.
What a woman does is, that's the one thing that always bugged me, right? Because they want to take away the parents' authority. They want to give children more adult privileges, but then want to treat them like kids.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like we're
21 and smoking. What? Make it make sense.
No, you know what's no fucking make this make sense. That in Minnesota you got to be 21 to buy cigarettes.
That's what I'm talking about. Nationwide.
Wait. Hold on. I'm not done yet. 21 to buy alcohol, 18 to buy weed.
Right. That don't make any sense.
Don't none of that make any sense. Oh, but here's the kicker. And then can literally, and I know I'm
and go buy a gun
at 21.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to go get your dick snipped or your boobs cut, you can be 12 and don't need anybody's permission. And I don't mean to bring that up in an insensitive type of way.
I know where you're getting at with it, bro. We had this discussion.
No, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, how can we treat them like adults in one way, but then when it comes down to accountability, oh, well, they're just kids. Fuck, what do you mean they're just kids? So you can't, it's okay to just call them kids in one sense, but then in another sense, they're adults.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. That doesn't make, that's an oxymoron. And I don't even know if we use the right word, but it's so weird to me. It's like, what the fuck are we sitting here teaching kids? It's like, okay, you're okay to be an adult, but then in the next sense, no, you're not adult enough.
Right.
Like, I don't understand it. And it's like, we literally do things like the legislation, No Child Left Behind. well, I'm sorry, but we leaving niggas behind. Because how do we have people that are graduating high school and can't read?
We had this conversation. We had a long conversation about this the one day. Like those TikTok videos and stuff of teachers literally damn near in tears because they can't understand why we're passing kids along that have flunked the entire year, cannot comprehend a whole sentence. This one guy was talking about how he tried the whole class, seventh grade, the whole class was reading on a third grade level, and he was instructed to pass the whole class.
Right. It's crazy, but that's the type of system that we live in America now.
And they want this
system that we live in. Oh, yeah, they definitely want it.
It's a nation of workers.
Right, not thinkers. This next segment I gotta say, this is probably gonna blow your mind. Because next we turn to a deeply disturbing incident involving a mother and her child who were wrongfully accused of shoplifting glasses. The encounter raises significant questions about policing, especially in Black communities. Why was a child more reasonable and articulate than the officers involved? This situation highlights the urgent need for reforms in how police interact with the public. As we push for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workforce and housing, we must also ensure that basic human rights and fair treatment are upheld in every aspect of life. This right here, man, I'm about to show it right now, is fucking blew my mind. But I gotta say, this little girl, I'm very proud of her.
And she had a dogger bag. The CV gave the description of a female Black with long braids with the white baseball cap, white shirt.
What classes did I steal from Mount Clear? Mommy, I know who it was. What class did I steal? Stop recording it now! You should not be recording it without our permission. For my safety, thank you. My aunt stole glasses. It wasn't her. Do she have a fucking white T-shirt on? No. Leave my mother alone. I don't have nothing though. This is crazy. Oh my damn father! You don't have nothing. I'm gonna kill somebody, bro.
That shit blew my mind. Because when you hear the suspect description come over the scanner, that's not that lady. A white shirt. She's got a stretchy dress on, one of them. I don't forget what they call them things.
And let me say this, police are really bad at understanding descriptions. And it doesn't matter what race it is, they're just bad at that. And I don't understand. I feel like they do that on purpose. Like, oh, let me just grab the first person I see.
Right.
White shirt, where?
It's sad as hell. I mean, it's like literally in that. And then there's a couple things that the little girl said. She knew who did it, and they bypassed that. I hate to see shit like that, because at the end of the day, these are supposed to be the people that we call to protect and serve, right? When we need help from criminals. Now, I sit here and I think about this. Is this girl going to call the police the next time she gets into a situation where she needs police for the simple fact of this interaction that she had with her mother?
I want people to think about this, because for the people that say, do you condemn Hamas? No, because this is how Hamas started. kids watching their mothers and elderly and uncles and aunts get murdered and massacred. And these Gen Zers are watching our tax-paying dollars go to genocide, while at the same time, the past 4 years, while they were in high school and college, saw countless black person after black person get chastised or murdered by the police, and no accountability or justice ever came from it. Think about how these kids, because they're kids to me now, I want people to think about how they will be thinking and moving and shaking 20 years from now, when they're the ones that have the majority of the power in the world, because the Joe Bidens of the world will be dead and gone by that point. These kids are being like, they're learning, it's reinforcing distrust.
And also, people only pay attention to what they want to pay attention to.
That part, that's a big one.
Because I'll tell you right now that there's a lot of people that do not pay attention, and that goes for older and that goes for younger.
Big fact.
There's a lot of people just not interested into or even care. They just want to live life, and I understand that. But there comes to be a point of somebody's got to do something. Nobody, you cannot care not that much, because I don't care how much money you have, it's going to affect you somehow, some form, some fashion. Yeah. Right? There's not just going to be, oh, if I just work a couple more hours, it'll be all right. No, it's more than that. And I don't think people, when you got literally Biden talking about, and I know he's been talking about it for a while. Excuse me. Damn. Ain't even hit nothing right there. But literally, when you sit there and you think about it, like Biden wanting to close the border, and it's like, you're only talking about that shit because it's becoming a topic right now. Immigration is coming a topic that you didn't want as a topic.
Yep.
That's the only that's what's crazy, because
he want them brownie points.
But I think it's also a deflecting distraction too. And I really definitely got to give him a hands up. I got to give him an applause for that, because it's going to take people's minds, right? At least their current vision, their eyes, onto something else, so that they're distracted.
Right.
And I'll be 100% about that, because I do feel like there's something else that's coming. And the reason why he's talking about closing the border is to deflect and distract people from what's coming. Because something is coming. I will tell you that right now. I don't know if people heard about Frank Tyson. That's going on currently in Canton, Ohio. I don't know much about this story. I was out camping this weekend, and I haven't really caught up too much. I had court yesterday and some other shit I was doing. But I am going to, that's the one crazy thing, is I wish that I had the funds to be able to travel and to cover stories that needed to be covered, because
we will, bro. We will. It will come. The day will come. This is what we've wanted from the beginning, and we'll make that happen. And it won't be off no fake shit, off some shit that we can't stand on. So it's just gonna take some time, but it'll happen.
Oh, I'm already knowing.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. So, what the hell is that game? I don't even know what that is. I'm distracted as. But next, I want to. Over the weekend, there was a toddler that died from an overdose. I hate that they call it accidental, because if it's fentanyl, that shit's not accidental no more. That shit is not accidental at all anymore. That shit is it needs to be clarified as what do you call that fucking a weapon of mass destruction. Literally, because it's a killer, man. You know, this shit's crazy because Narcan is not narcotics. There was evidence of narcotics activities near the child. Sadly, police say the girl was pronounced dead after being rushed to the hospital. Right now, officially, police are investigating the incident as a suspicious death, but say drugs are suspected to have caused the child's death. Police are speaking with one of the parents and another adult who was living in the same space. There was also another 7-year-old child in the residence who was not harmed. I'm horrified and saddened by this tragedy, O'Hara said in a statement. Our investigators are fully committed to finding the facts and figuring out how this little girl died. Higher Ground is run by Catholic Charities. It is listed as a low-income housing and a homeless shelter on the Prophet's website. So it happened, some type of facility. And that's, for me, we've gotten such to this thing of harm reduction that a lot of places allow for use in these type of facilities. And to me, I don't agree with it. And my thing of it is that people, I agree with harm reduction, but right now, the way that it with fentanyl, you're dealing with a weapon of mass destruction. This thing is a killer. And that's the one thing that they don't want to talk about of how deadly this shit is. Everybody wants to think that this is pharmaceutical fentanyl we're dealing with. It's not. This is something totally different. And they're adding something else to even so that Narcan doesn't even work.
What?
It's another thing they don't want. They're cutting it with something else. And I can't pronounce the word, but it's like Zaxline or some shit like that. But they cut it.
They make this shit in other countries, right? And then it gets delivered here.
Hell no, man. You can literally make that shit. All you got to do is go on Amazon, get you a pill pressing machine, right? One of them you can plug into your garage, an electrical outlet, or you could get a storage facility, your basement, and some of them pop out 9,000 pills in an hour. Or you get the compounds. And it does everything for you. That's why they tell you got it when it comes to these pills, you got to look at the edges because there's no way to get it. They're not going to do it like pharmaceutical. So you're always going to get a different product because at the end of the day, a real Xanny or a real perk isn't going to have the rough edges. You know what I'm saying? They're going to smooth it out because number one, it's going to be coated or there's other shit added to it for the medication. Where here, you don't know what you're getting cocaine, you're getting fentanyl, you're getting whatever, heroin, shit, whatever. They're giving you a lot of shit, but literally the machine does it for you. All they got to know is how to break it down. And honestly, they don't. And I think that's why a lot of people are dying and they don't realize how deadly this fentanyl is.
This shit's crazy.
And I try to tell people all the time, it's like everybody wants to talk about, oh, we have a war on drugs. How? Because the war is wrong. Y'all fighting first of all, they're fighting people that if the government didn't put the drugs there, wouldn't have it. Because we don't own no ports or boats. So again, how the fuck is all this coke getting in? But they always want to blame it on BMF, Meech and them, or they wanted to blame it on Freeway Ricky Ross,
right?
Or the thousands of other black men they've locked up are women. Instead of looking in the mirror and be like, you know what, we did it. But they'll never do that. They'll never do that. And people won't even question. That's the one crazy part. It's like they think because, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. They want y'all to believe that.
Yep.
That's the crazy part. Like, I don't even understand that. It's like if a lot of people, even with the Feeding Our Future trial that is going on here in Minneapolis, it's like if people actually paid attention to that and they would see how these people were spending the money, how it was trickling down, like we would really start to question our community leaders. We would really start to question our churches, because how can you steal and lie from the community that you're here to protect, that you're here to work for? That's one thing I'll never understand. I will never understand that. You know, we're supposed to love thy neighbor. We're not supposed to steal from our neighbor. We're not supposed to kill our neighbors. And yet, that's all we have around us. And anytime you try to break that barrier, break that curse, they break you. Look what happened to Malcolm. Fred. We need to break that cycle. That's what I meant, cycle, not curse, cycle. We need to break that cycle. We have to break it, because if we don't break it, here's the one thing that I think everybody that gets into this line of work, right, is the one thing that they want to do is when they die is that they hopefully left the world in a better place. I think that's every activist, revolutionary, whatever you want to call yourself, that's what your vision is, because if that's not it, you're definitely in the wrong line of business. You're definitely in the wrong line of business, because I can tell you right now, the work that we're doing, we're not supposed to feel. That's not how it was meant. I wish that it was meant for us to feel it. Why do you think we're still talking about reparations? Because it was never meant for us to feel it. It was never meant for our ancestors to feel it, right? But the education was there so that future generations can feel it.
Right.
That's what people don't understand. And that's why Malcolm said some very powerful shit, man, that people totally bypass, bro. They totally bypass. He said a lot of powerful shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because education is the passport to the future. Because for those who prepare for it today, and I know I'm saying it wrong and I'm sorry, but Malcolm said some powerful shit, because education, and what is the one thing that they're trying to get rid of? Education. Because they don't want a nation of thinkers. They want a nation of workers, basically followers. If you got to look at it like that, they don't want a nation of leaders. They want a nation of followers. People are going to follow behind, do what they're told. And people can't even see that. We still have house niggas. We still have field niggas. You just got to put it in today's terms, today's context. That's it. There ain't no different, because I'll tell you right now who the house niggas are. The pastors, the community leaders, the nonprofits. Because the minute Biden, Governor Walz, Fetterman, Krasner, any of these white men, Trump, say jump, y'all say, how high, massa? How high, massa? Because y'all know damn well all the money, and I'm talking fuck the millions, billions at this point, hundreds of billions of dollars that could have fixed our communities, that could have redone Black Wall Street, since we want to talk about that so much, could literally set future generations up. But because we have too much selfishness and we don't really want to help our little brother, we don't want to help the communities that we grew up in, we want to leave them behind and forget about it, because out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. If you don't have to see where you came from every day, you're not going to think about the overdoses. You're not going to think about the gun violence. You're not going to think about the children who are sleeping, that are having to go under their beds at midnight because they have bullets flying around. You don't feel that out in the suburbs. We've lost such a touch with reality. It's not even to me about fear mongering anymore, because this shit actually does happen. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no predicting shit. You can always find a story about
I
somebody
think
being.
people that talk about the whole fear mongering thing just don't want to get involved and don't want to listen to anything at all. I partially
Right.
get it. I do partially get it, but hey, it's the world.
You know, and it is the world. But this even last night, this happened right here. But this is what trips me out, man, is because we don't give a fuck about even a 4-year-old and 1-year-old. But a person was shot. How are you shooting with kids in the car?
Wow.
Like, how are we doing that? How are we this is the one, I don't give a fuck how much you might hate a person, right? How are you putting innocent kids in danger? And I want to know how this person who did that, who shot this individual in the head, how your friends are allowing you to walk out in public, and how they don't have you down at the Hennepin County Government Center and turn your coward ass in.
A 4-year-old and a 1-year-old left the vehicle where the person was shot, and police found them nearby. That is so sad.
That's sad as fuck. But even the story about the toddler who died because of somebody left drugs around him. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? When are we going to care about our kids? But they don't write legislation about this. These are things that they don't talk about at the state capitol, because out of sight, out of mind. And this shit sickens me, because that 2-year-old who died in a facility that was state ran. So here's the gunfire from. I could only imagine what these little kids were thinking. This little 2-year-old or 4-year-old and that 1-year-old. And it's like, when are we going to care about them? That's the one thing. And that's why, you know, Operation Hug the Block means so much to me and Marcus. Because we've seen so much money come into our community under the guise of violence interruption, under the guise of violence prevention. And we're not seeing that. Because when we literally did more to curb crime, to curb violence in the area that we were doing in 2021, and yet the people that did the most, that had metrics and could prove it, no, they kicked them out the way. Because this is what's crazy. And I want to ask anybody, if you're a Minneapolis resident, look up the data from 2021 in that summer of how crime was before May and then after May, and how much it went down, because they did compare it. Yeah. Where Black Lives the Streets was at, that little 5-mile radius that we had, that actually we took because other niggas wasn't out there doing their shit, right? They said they was, but they wasn't. 68% drop. And we're not just talking about gun violence. We're talking about theft. We're talking about domestic violence calls. We're talking about all types of shit, because at the end of the day, we were out there in them streets, boots to the ground. If there was incidents that were happening, we were getting involved. We literally did car chases.
Yep.
On live. That's what's crazy part. A lady was getting carjacked across the street when we were on 36th and Penn in the alley, and all of a sudden we hear a gunshot, and the lady's like, "My car is getting stolen." So what do? We get in our car and we start chasing. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but that's what you do.
That's what community does.
Right. That's what I don't even understand. And it's crazy is because I remember one night we were out there and there was an altercation that was happening across the street. And I mean, this was like 30, 40 niggas out there. And one of the dudes was like, "Man, listen, y'all already know if something pops off, what's going to happen. So we were trying to get the women and kids, because that's who Black Lives in the Streets. When we went out there, our kids were out there with us. We literally at 2, 3 in the morning. That's how we knew we were safe. We knew we were safe because we would bring our kids out there. We'd bring our nieces and nephews out there with us. And niggas already knew. And that's what's coming back this summer, Operation Hug the Block.
I'm sorry, I'm not like the most street savviest person, and maybe I did grow up on some, hood black culture movies to understand certain things, but I'm pretty certain that, up until the 2010s, there was a certain code of conduct that you followed.
There was.
And there was just certain things that you really didn't do. And if you did, you was a fuck ass nigga. You wasn't a person that was really supposed to be what you was supposed to be about. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense to me? Does that make sense, y'all?
It makes a lot of sense, because
go ahead.
That's one thing that is missing from the community. That's one thing, organization. Because there was a code. There was, people had integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you respected, at least to not be at least shooting while women and children were around. You know, there were certain things you just didn't do, because I'll tell you, if people were standing on business, we wouldn't be having all of these innocent kids and women getting killed. Because there was drive-bys, but you got way more innocents being killed now than ever before. And it's because you got 12-year-olds shooting with switches that they can't control. That, first of all, they're not even trained to hold.
That you're not even buying in a store anyway, for anyone to have any say to actually operate the right way too.
Right. No, so it's like, to be honest, and then they do all this gun legislation. Stop bringing in the guns. How are there military weaponry out here on these streets? It was something that I talked about last week, that there was a report that came out that, since 2010, there was over 52,000 guns that police had confiscated or got from gun buyback programs that were out in the streets that were a part of crimes. So how? It's like a fucking never-ending cycle of dumbassness. I feel like an episode of fucking South Park, Boondocks, and fucking The Simpsons all in one, dog, because we can't be living a real fucking life.
They blend together. They make fun of the real world. The real world takes inspiration from them, and that's why the Simpsons predictions are so popular. They parallel each other. Don't y'all know the stuff y'all watching on TV and in the movies? What's that? The Hunger Games.
Right. That's a very good example, because it's crazy how they just all of a sudden came out with another movie, and it's like the kids or some shit. I'm like, wait, I didn't even know they were still doing that goddamn movie. Because,
man, I watched like the first one, and I couldn't watch no more because it was so eerily similar to our real world. That I couldn't do it. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. I was like, I can't watch no more of this. How are people finding this entertaining? You can go outside and see the same stuff.
I don't think they compare. They don't put it in the context.
They don't.
Of what
they don't put two and two together.
Right. It's just like, okay,
crazy to me.
Here's another thing that took me, right? Because when me and Ashley went to go see the movie Civil War, there was so many contexts of things that was actually happening, or shit that's even actually happened since that movie came out. Let's say that, like, there's a part in the movie that a ship crashes because of some kind of technical difficulties. Well, right, I'm right. Thank you. Damn, I love. See, man, I love Robert. He always be knowing, man. That's what's crazy. He always be knowing, and it's but other people don't even see it. And honestly, I didn't even see it for a very long time. And that's why I hate when people say they're so woke, because you're not woke. You're not woke. you're fake woke if you're anything. And that's why I love Cat Williams' chain, his fake woke chain, because that means a lot. And I think that still goes over people's heads of what even he's talking about when it comes to that fake woke shit, because we literally will talk about P. Diddy, but we won't even talk about that type of shit that goes on in our own communities.
So let me touch on that.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Because I think why Diddy is so sensationalized, and I do want to put out a difference between Diddy and Harvey Weinstein, for example, because there's differences between that too.
Right.
But why is the hood so enamored with this Diddy situation? Well, the hood likes drama. The hood likes gossip. It's sickening as hell for both of us to sit and witness, but we've dealt with it our whole lives. Right. We're used to it. The mainstream ain't used to this shit. So, white people in the mainstream, everybody's soaking this kind of drama up from the black community, right? So it's going to be sensationalized. That's one tiny aspect of it. But look at it's still entertaining, but it also still mirrors reality, and it gets people engaged to embolden themselves to talk about something that actually has some substance and matters. Because let's face it, this is a situation that does need to be talked about in some aspect. Does it need the kind of attention that it is getting in the way that it's getting? No. Why aren't we actually talking about holding this motherfucker accountable and looking more into the things that he has been doing and finding a way to charge Russell Simmons too, and get his ass back from Bali, bring him back to the States.
Crazy part. Unless Russell bring his ass over here,
there's nothing we could do.
There's none, because they don't have an extradition treaty.
No, and he's smart about that shit. He knows, and Diddy to learn from that. But the point is, like you were saying, to get back to what you were saying, like, why are we talking about these celebrities that are doing this stuff, but not the average, ordinary people that's doing this, when both are contributing to the downfall of our societies, right? Well, I think in part, again, we do need to be talking about Diddy, but maybe we should be talking about it in a different way. Maybe the people that are actually talking about this right now that usually wouldn't be talking about this stuff, let's get them while the ball is hot. Let's kind of curve the ball and see if we can get them to talk deeper about stuff instead of just gossiping about things that really don't matter. Also, stop shaming Cassie, because that's also another thing that's indicative of what is it's a microcosm of our society. And that's also the point I want to bring home with the Diddy situation. Even though it is about celebrities and Hollywood and a bunch of bullshit gossip and all that kind of stuff, it still is a microcosm of our country, our society, our culture, and the things we find entertaining. Is a person committing SA and doing all kinds of the things that we have heard that Diddy has done, is that laughable? Is that entertainment? Or is that something that needs accountability and in a structured way? Because I don't exactly see that happening, and that's the bone that I have to pick, like I'm sure you do as well, Chaz. That is the issue that I think is the big problem. Because if we're not actually using this as a teaching moment, then what are we actually doing as a society? Because we're not. We're sitting here using this as entertainment in a very cynical way.
Exactly.
At that. You know what I mean? Like, and even like the Cat Williams thing, the Monique thing, those are also things that are very cynical. Those are people's lives that got blacklisted and blackballed, and they're speaking truth, and people are tearing them apart or trying to tear them apart or find fallacy or falsehoods in anything they're saying. They can't, because these people can stand on their facts and back it up. Now let's hold them accountable. Well, when people start to hold them accountable, it doesn't become entertainment anymore. So people move on to the next. So I'm definitely with you on that, bro. Like, we should not be talking about the Diddy situation in the way that we are. We should be using it as a teachable moment to demonstrate, if these people at the top reaches are doing it, what you think is going on down here with us? What you think is going on the streets and behind closed doors in society? What do you think people that think they have this kind of power are doing to the rest of us? What about the people in our movement that move around like track stars, get lots of clout?
Right.
You get where I'm comparing this though, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And then we can take it the other route and go to Kanye, the one that's actually speaking things that people should be thinking about. They don't want to talk about that. They distract and deflect and talk about the things that are entertaining instead of looking at the things of substance that he actually is talking about that may not make sense on the surface, but when you actually sit and debate and talk about it, there very much are some things there. I'm rambling now, but I definitely agree with you, bro.
But I wanted to show something, man, because damn, I was just going. I missed a lot of shit while I was on camping, and I really haven't been going through it. I'm just getting back into it right now. But this shit right here tripped me out. That there was 100+ vehicle windows smashed across Minneapolis yesterday. That is insane.
Why? Is it like a mischief night type of thing, or these kids just?
You know what's crazy? There was so much going on yesterday with kids, because that's what I'm gonna say, because that's what I even like this incident right here involving a couple of females and an Uber driver at 2:45 in the morning. There ain't no sound, that's why. As I'm not there, I'm not playing it because I don't know what. I'm not gonna say why. This ain't Charlie Chaplin. But even this shit blew my mind. They had a fire last night at an RV blew up. I don't know if it was one that was, RV.
I don't know how y'all be
exploded.
having such wild stories out there.
Man, yo, this should be wild. There was one more other thing that I wanted to. Here goes the latest view at the encampment. This shit's getting too much. I don't think there's no sound on it. God, damn. I'm not showing it in there. Nope. Of course. I always fuck
There you
up.
go.
I'm gonna start it over because this shit is getting. I mean, I couldn't imagine living. No, let me stop it right there because I understand that not everybody can help it.
Like, what you mean, living in a place like that?
No, not so much that. It's. I think camping is cool. That's not camping to me.
Right.
You know, that to me is something because I understand it, right? Not everybody. Some people want to live like that. But here's my question. Like if you are going to live like that, have respect for the people around you.
Yeah.
Right? Like how they respect you. Because at the end of the day, this is what because me and Marcus was just talking about this yesterday. And I said what's crazy is I couldn't live. I could, but I couldn't for the simple fact of like I understand everybody isn't in the same situations as everybody else. There's levels to this shit. And I'm never gonna down somebody that is in a more peculiar situation than myself. I'm never gonna judge them. That's not my job.
Right.
My job is to sit here and to understand and maybe help them become something that they have in their mind that maybe they can't achieve or that they can't get to. But in reality, that's not the case. It's just that they've been indoctrinated to not see themselves as winners.
Yep.
So I get it. But like I told Marcus, I said, for me, the hardest part is I understand where people come to. I hate the not in my backyard rhetoric.
Word.
And I'm going to tell you why is because they're like, well, I work hard for this. You work hard for what? It's all materialistic shit that we could literally lose in a snap.
That right there. who's to say that these people didn't work hard for what they had and lost it all in a snap?
Right. Over a system that
Right. That anyone
judging
can lose anything at any time. So when you pass judgment on someone else, you better hope and pray that it don't happen to you too.
right.
You and
And
I
that's,
both know.
oh hell yeah. I definitely
We
know.
both
And
been
that's
through
why
it. Yep.
I take my peace and blessings every day.
Count,
You know, I take
count them. Yep.
life as how it comes, because at the end of the day, everybody's fairy tale looks different. Everybody's success looks different. Everybody's excellence looks different. So I'm never gonna judge or downplay somebody because of the simple fact of their success is their success.
There are no guarantees in this life.
Right. There is none. You just gotta go for it. And I know a lot of people are disheartened or maybe don't have the knowledge. You don't need it. What you need is a collective. What you need to do is collaborate, because it takes teamwork. That's why literally the Leon block works so great.
Facts.
Everybody just plays their role.
Facts.
Everybody just plays their role. It's the same thing where it comes to what me and Marcus are doing. It fits like a glove, because at the end of the day, it takes a team. There's no I in team.
I in team. Yo, you literally took that out of my mouth, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a community. There is a community, but that's because it's a part of unity.
Facts.
And it takes I to be a part of unity.
Facts.
I want people to remember that, because people overlook that shit. They overlook that shit. Because they'll be like, oh, what do you mean? Well, it takes an I to be a part of a community. It takes a bunch of eyes to be a part of a community. So I don't care. You know, that's the one thing that I've had to learn. And I know other people need to learn it. You can't love anybody if you don't love yourself.
There you go. Talk about it.
I'm going to be 100. That's why people's opinions don't bother me anymore. And I don't mind being critiqued. I'm one motherfucker. Critique me all you want. But I understand that it's an opinion, and I'm going to take what I need and let the rest go.
Facts.
Because everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. They're like assholes. Just like everybody got an asshole.
Yeah, I think we got a song topic right here. Everybody got an opinion.
Right. You're so right. Right. You have to be chill with you as for. That's one thing that I know what my capabilities are. I know what I'm capable of. And here's the thing of it is, right? And John Tell even said this. There's a lot of things that I didn't think I could do. But when I couldn't figure it out,
right,
I figured out a way. Because if there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way.
So just like when it comes to this legislation, you know, when it comes to this change, people are like, oh, we can't do it. Yes, we can. There's too many people that, oh, there's too much work to do. But then move out the way. You're a clog. At this point, you're just clogging up the system. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's a will, there's a way. And Robert, I know we agree. Me and Robert agree on this, I think, to a degree. I think there's a lot of ways that we can change what's going on around us. But because people believe that there's too much power, but see, we're the power. We, the people, are the power. They think Democrats and Republicans are the power. No, the fuck they're not. We put them in the power. I want people to not believe that, but understand that. Right. I put it in simpler terms. Get down or lay down. Because you're going to get out of the way. You're either going to fall in line or you're going to get out the way. And that's what Operation Hug the Block is, man. It's about bringing back the community. It's about bringing back the village. It's about bringing back the team. That's what that's about. Operation Hug the Block is. It's about bringing back the to dream. And well, you can't do that without teamwork. So that's what we're doing. And people can, all these little white liberals can say what y'all fuck y'all want to say about us, about our delivery, about the words we use. We're about community. There ain't nothing else on our minds but loving our community and getting back to what we understand where our community was and still should be. But because of politics, because of fake and fraudulent and scammers and trauma, and people don't want to face it because nobody ever wants to just face the truth because the truth hurts. Yeah, it hurts for a little bit, but that lie, we're gonna just keep on allowing these lies to keep on hurting us.
That part.
That's the one thing, love. Like, what I don't understand is like, why do people they prefer to live a lie than to rather live in the truth?
Cognitive dissonance is a bitch.
I don't understand it. It's like people are so more comfortable of not actually, they would rather overanalyze or overthink this shit than actually see it for what it. Well, why would our government do that? Why would they do that? Why would they hurt its own people? So they could start a war? So they could start propaganda? So they could win an election? You tell me, why do people do the shit they do? Because if it doesn't, what I was told, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. So take that shit for what it is. But that's literally what I was told from a Democrat was, we ain't pass stuff. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. What? What do you mean? Well, because a lot of the shit y'all do don't make dollars, and it sort of fuck don't make no goddamn sense. So please again tell me why you're doing that. Like, for real. It might make a few dollars. I don't, you know what's crazy though is I think a lot of the shit they do, even though maybe it doesn't make money to us, I think it makes money for them in some form or fashion.
Yep.
I'm starting to see that shit now for what it is. That's why I don't even believe that money will win election. But I mean, it shouldn't. But it does. It definitely does. And that's why I tell people, I think
definitely does.
This election, I'm going to be honest. This election, if you want to get anything done, changed, it's going to be hard because there's a lot of fucking money out here in the wrong hand. There's a lot of money out here in the wrong hand. Because you got to remember, feeding our future, how much they don't. That's the one crazy part that pisses me off, because they never want to actually come out with the number, that money that was used in this program. They always want to talk about the money that they can account for from a few groups, instead of putting the whole picture out there, because that's how they were doing it at first. And then I think people are like, damn, that's a lot of money. You mean to tell me y'all was letting that shit go for that long? Because that shit was is over $500 million. We're talking about $500 fucking million that went down the tube, that went to other countries, that went to vacations, houses, cars, all under the guise of feeding kids.
Mm-hmm.
And people just be like, well, that's how politics works. That's what the Republicans say. That's how politics work. Damn, for real? Then why would we want anybody to vote? That's the one thing I'll never understand is, how do y'all, they talk so much about democracy and how much they dislike our government and how much they want to change it, but yet don't do nothing to change it, but yet get sound bites. They want views and likes and follows, and not vetoes and not yays. Yay, yay. They don't want that yay. To hear all them yays, they want to keep on. Oh, the Democrats are doing this and the Democrats are doing that, and there's nothing we can do about it. We need your help in November. Well, we need your help right now.
Right. And fear mongering also just.
Right. That's what I don't understand. It's like, okay, you want my help in November. I need your help right now.
The other does this, the other does that. Like,
because I'll tell you right now, I'm not, after the shit that we went through in 2022 with the Republicans, I'm definitely not going through that shit again. They used me in market. They used us. They literally used us. And then when none of them win, because first of all, they didn't listen to us. They wanted to keep on doing that same old redneck, old, what is that? Boys be boys shit. Redneck ass bullshit. And they lost because they didn't want to. And here's the thing of it is because they're like, oh, well, we don't want to fight that way. Well, then you don't want to fight for the people because nobody's telling you to break the law. That's the one thing that I'll never understand. Nobody's telling them to go ballot harvest. That's not what I'm saying. But why don't you do the same thing the Democrats are doing and help put grassroots organizations, ordinary people, into positions that are able to help you fight that? But they don't want to work like a team, and I understand that now. But hopefully, maybe some of that'll change on Saturday, because there is a lot of people coming out, and there's even somebody that's coming out from Philly that really fucking shocked me when I woke up this morning and had a message from them. Fucking blew my mind if their schedule works out, but he's gonna try to be out here on Saturday. It fucking blows my mind, and it's like, wow, I'm gonna be. I can't wait for it if he actually does. I know he's gonna come out here this summer, but if he's actually out here on the day that Operation Hug the Block started, that's gonna be such a motherfucking remarkable day. And I still don't even know what to say, because I'll tell you right now, when I woke up to that message from Jamal saying that he could possibly be out here Saturday.
Word.
For start of Operation Hug the Block, bro, I was dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded.
I would love to see y'all get a picture together. Make sure you go live.
Oh man, hell yeah! That's one thing that we would definitely be doing on Operation Hug the Block is going live.
Leon Block did some footage. Yeah.
Start a pass, not a pass, but a page that will be up hopefully by the end of tonight. I think it is already up. You just can't. There's nothing there. We haven't added nothing to it. We just really wanted it up there though.
If you can get some interviews in too.
Oh man, that's all I'm going to be doing. I got to see how the internet is out there, because the last time we were out there on Thursday.
Nah, okay. How about this then?
So I might have to just not go do live, but get video.
No, don't.
I've already
take video clips and then we can make it into a documentary.
You'll be way behind, bro. I've already talked about this yesterday of how we wanted people following certain people for certain times. Yeah, because we've already got a crew that's going to be out there that is going to listen. We're already in the works of a documentary. I don't want to put too much out here because we are working on a lot of things for Operation Hug the Block. And here's the thing of it is, nobody's funding us. We're doing this all out of our pocket. We haven't even gotten we've gotten one $25 donation that I've received, and that is for the safety vest so that we can put the emblem for Operation Hug the Block on the back of it, so that our volunteers who are out hugging the block, that people know that they're with Operation Hug the Block. So we want everybody got their t-shirts, their colored t-shirts. We don't want to do that. We want people to be out in visors, protective visors, that you know who it is, that you can see who it is, that who you're talking to. And we want to know that we're out here. We want people to know that we're out here and that we're out here for y'all. But I want people to understand we also have jobs, right? That we still got to make sure that that's one thing that is different this year, right, than in 2021. We have money saved up. You know what I'm saying? Ashley was off from COVID. COVID was still rampant, running around. There was still, everybody wasn't back to work yet. So that money that we put in there, that year, we definitely are not going to be able to put in the 20 grand that we threw in that summer. There's no way. In between me and Marcus, We spent over damn near $35,000 fucking dollars in North Minneapolis out of our own money. Out of our own money. And people be like, well, how'd y'all get that money if you guys aren't? And this is the one thing that we had to talk about yesterday. We were drug dealers. The fuck you mean? That's the one thing people can't stand about us, that we tell the fucking truth. Yeah, I want to be 100. Them proceeds was going back to the community.
Yeah.
It helped people put back to school clothes. Because y'all do that shit with government money. But grants from the motherfucking city. We did that shit out of our own pockets. And yeah, maybe it wasn't, but hey, it went back to good use. Because we did backpacks. We did all that shit. We bought over $3,000 worth of fucking fireworks for July 4th. Did a big ass thing on July 4th out there. We shut down 30. We did this video. If you go on Chaz Neal for Human Rights Commission or Marcus's page anytime in 2021 that summer, you'll see what we did. I'm telling you, that's a whole fucking documentary right there that summer. All the shit we've been through, that we went through that summer. From him doing candlelight vigils and people shooting at him. All right. No, I'm telling you, man, there was from our building being blew up, or attempting to blow up our building.
Right.
Yeah, we went through a lot of motherfucking shit.
I remember that shit.
A lot of shit. Went through a lot of shit. And we still here to talk about it. Still here to be in y'all faces. Because you can't get rid of us. We're like roaches. Can't get rid of us. We just multiply. And that's what's happening. We've multiplied. It ain't just, that's what people think, it's just me and Marcus. I wish. You got a whole motherfucking team behind us. And yeah, they will see a lot of people on Saturday. That's the one crazy part why I can't wait. They'll see it. And all them people talking about, oh, y'all ops, y'all gonna have the police there. We haven't even reached out to the police. Because we want them to reach out to us. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna come out there when we shut down the street. They're gonna, what are you guys doing? Y'all jobs, bitch. What you mean? Y'all jobs. What you mean? So, and I would love for them to say something, because we've already here. We'll have security. Security will be out there. We have a security team that'll be out there. So at the end of the day, I'm not worried about any of y'all want to be so-called Antifa members, any of y'all so-called BLMers, any so-called y'all haters. And I'm not saying anything to do about security.
Has the police reached out to y'all yet?
No. But we have, so when we were downtown Minneapolis, passing out flyers at the Timberwolves block party, we did hand out some to some police officers. We did do that. Especially one lieutenant, I think it might be a captain now, Schroeder, but he's from the 4th precinct.
I mean, I'm sure they know about it, but
I can't stand. Oh yeah, they motherfuckers know about it.
Yeah,
they definitely know about it.
But it would be, I'm just surprised they haven't reached out yet.
Oh, I'm not, because they're doing something themselves. They're doing Operation Safe Summer. But then what did any operation y'all do? Because Operation Endeavor was to spy on the community. Operation Curb the Violence was just about switching the violence from downtown to other places. So what is Operation Safe Summer about? Are you guys just going to put police cars up again? Are you going to pay violence interrupters to crowd control? It ain't about preventing shit. So, but there's a bunch of shit I got to do today before I go to work. And I'm going to get up off of here.
All right, brother. Well,
coming on, man.
Anytime. It's always a pleasure. It's always nice to chit chat with you. And to all the viewers,
watching the Urban Conservative this morning. I have a show called The Colonizer's Coffin. I also help run the Leon Block along with Chaz. So make sure you check out all of our other material on the Leon Block Network. Chaz, you have a blessed day.
You too, my brother. Have a great one. Trying to see what should I. Maybe I won't. I'll just do some tomorrow. But y'all have a great one, man. And I'll be back tomorrow. So 9 o'clock in the morning. Win or fail, we're in jail, heaven or hell. Wish me well. Y'all have a great one.
Urban Conservative.